Hello everyone, my name is Peter. Welcome to Faith Rebranded. In today's topic, we'll be tackling one of the most profound questions we can ask. Does the universe need a creator? The origin of the universe have fascinated humanity for centuries. Whether you're a scientist, a philosopher, or simply curious, the question of where everything came from is essential. There are two main positions to explore. Number one, the universe came into existence from something or someone. And number two, the universe came into existence from nothing. This presentation will address the evidence, challenges, and implications surrounding this question. You know, everything that starts must have had something that made it happen. Imagine if you saw a toy car, someone must have made it. The Kalam cosmological argument says the universe works the same way. It started, so it must have had a cause. The Kalam cosmological argument is a simple yet powerful way of thinking about the universe's origin. It has three premises. The first premise, everything that begins to exist has a cause. Think about it. If you buy a new phone, the cause is the factory where the phone was made. The second premise says the universe had a beginning. This is where things get really interesting. The Big Bang theory suggests the universe began from a single point, also known as the singularity. And we move to the conclusion. It said, therefore, the universe must have a cause. If the universe had a beginning, something must have caused it to come into existence. Just like your phone didn't appear out of nowhere, the universe also didn't just appear out of nowhere. The Kalam argument was first thought up by philosophers hundreds of years ago. And today, scientists like those studying the Big Bang agree that the universe had a beginning. That Big Bang is the proof the universe didn't just appear out of nowhere. And this challenges people who says there's no creator at all. It's like if you saw a painting, you wouldn't think it just appeared. Someone must have painted it. The Kalam argument challenges atheistic explanations because if everything needs a cause, then the universe origin suggests there must be a cause beyond it. Something or someone brought it into existence. And that's where many people point to a creator. Imagine you have a pot of water on the stove. When the pot heats up enough, the water begins to boil and steam rises into the air. The steam is like the cosmic background radiation which scientists have discovered, which is an evidence that the universe had a beginning. The pot began to boil at a certain point. Therefore, the universe also has a beginning where it started emitting radiation, just like the pot emits steam at boiling point. Leading scientists, including Stephen Hawking, agree that the universe had a beginning, much like the moment where the pot started boiling. The debate now is about what caused this beginning. The steam rising from the pot, like I said, represents the cosmic background radiation that supports the idea of a starting point. Additionally, scientists have discovered that the universe is expanding like a balloon being blown up. If you rewind the blowing up of a balloon, you must arrive at a point, a starting point where the balloon started blowing up. Same thing for the universe. The universe is expanding at a rapid rate as scientists have discovered. Therefore, it means it must not have been existing forever. It had a starting point and something caused or someone caused that beginning. Some people used to think that the universe was forever. Imagine people who believe in pantheism. They think the universe is eternal, never created, just always existing. But here's the question, does that really make sense? Think about time. If the universe had an infinite past, that means there did be an infinite number of days before today. But here's the problem. If there were endless days or infinite days before today, how did we arrive at today? I'll help you to understand by using the analogy of an endless staircase. Suppose you're standing on a staircase that winds down endlessly, that goes down forever. You're standing on a point, a step on that staircase. If there were no starting point, there's no first step, how did you arrive at that point on the step? Same thing for the universe. The fact that we are in a point in time called today, it therefore means that the universe must have a starting day, a starting point. Have you ever noticed how things naturally wear out over time? Your phone battery dies, a block of ice left on the table will melt, a hot cup of coffee eventually cools down. The second law of thermodynamics talks about entropy, which is synonymous with disorder. It states that entropy or disorder always increases. The universe, as if the universe had been around forever, all its energy would have been used up by now. But the fact that the universe still has some usable energy suggests that it has a beginning. Now, think about the universe itself. Scientists have observed that it's expanding, like I said, like a balloon being blown up. If you rewind that expansion, you reach a starting point, a moment where the universe began. Finally, consider this. Nothing exists on its own. If a car needs fuel to run, a house depends on builders to exist. The universe depends on laws and external factor and is therefore not sustaining. The fact that the universe is not self-sustaining, that means it depends on external factor, therefore means that it must have an external cause. So just like your cup of coffee or your car, the universe had a beginning and points to something beyond it that started it all. Now, who or what caused the universe? That's the question. Imagine you are baking a cake. You can't make it appear out of nowhere. It takes the baker mixing ingredients and making the decision to start baking. Now, think about the universe. It has a cause that is beyond space, time, and matter, since it created all of those. Now, what fits something that is beyond space, time, and matter? Only two things. Number one, abstract objects like numbers. Numbers are beyond space, time, and matter. I mean, like 1, 2, 3. They are numbers. They are real, but they are invisible and they exist beyond space, time, and matter. The second thing that fits this description of something being beyond space, time, and matter is a mind. But here's the catch. Numbers cannot do anything. They just exist. They cannot take a decision to act. But a mind, however, can choose to act. That is why the cause of the universe must be an unembodied mind. Something or someone powerful enough to create everything we see. Now, why did it just happen at a specific moment? The cause must have a free will to decide when to create the universe. Just like a baker decide at the point at which to start baking. The cause must be really special. It has to be someone that doesn't belong to space, time, or matter, and this points to an intelligent creator, a mind that is behind everything that we see. Some people suggest that the universe came from nothing, but let's think of it. If anything could just pop into existence from nothing, why don't we see iPads, Teslas, or pizzas randomly appear out of thin air? Clearly, from our human experience, that doesn't happen. So this is how Dr. William Lane Craig, a famous philosopher, tries to tackle this question of people saying that the universe came from nothing. Some atheists like Dr. Lawrence Krauss argue that the universe came from nothing, that is from a quantum vacuum. But there's a problem. The quantum vacuum is not nothing. It's not truly nothing. It's an energy filled with particles and laws of physics. It's something that requires a cause to exist in the first place. True nothing means no energy, no particle, no space, no time. Literally nothing. That is zich, nada. And from true nothing, you can't get something without an external cause. So just like a pizza needs a chef, the universe needs a cause to bring it into existence. Things don't just pop into being without a reason. Now let's break it down simply. When you see a beautiful painting, you don't assume it appeared out of nowhere. You know there's an artist behind it. The universe is like that painting, but on a much grander scale. So how did it get here? There are two possibilities. The first, by atheists, say the universe came from nothing by itself. But does that really make sense? Can your phone or dinner just pop into existence from nothing? Of course not. Things need a cause. The second option is the theistic view. Someone created something out of nothing. That someone would be beyond space, time, and matter, because that someone created all of that. This creator must be powerful and intentional, designing the universe just like an artist designs a masterpiece. The universe's existence points to more than just random chance. It suggests a purposeful, personal creator behind it all. So, to you, which makes more sense? Something came from nothing, or someone made it all? The law of causality says that everything that happens has a cause. This is essential for reasoning and science. For example, if your phone dies, you check the battery because you know something caused your phone to stop working. Without causality, we wouldn't figure out why things happen or predict what will happen next. Causality goes beyond the physical world too. Think about the decisions you make. The cause isn't something you can touch, but it's real. It's your thoughts, your reasoning, your desires. Causality applies even to non-physical things like ideas and choices, which aren't bound by time or space. In science, if we didn't believe in causality, experiments wouldn't make sense. Every effect must have a cause, and without this principle, our understanding of the universe would collapse. But if you deny causality, you undermine your ability to reason about anything. If you deny causality to explain the universe, it's just like cutting the branch on which you are sitting on. The law of causality says that everything that begins to exist has a cause. It's the foundation, like I said, of all reasoning and science. Think about it. If you see smoke, you know there's a fire. If your phone stops working, you look for what caused it. Without causality, we can't make sense of anything in the universe. But here's the irony. Arguments against God often rely on causality. For example, atheists might ask, who caused God? But they misunderstand causality. The law of causality says that everything that begins to exist has a cause. God is the uncaused cause. He doesn't have a beginning. He's eternal because he created time, space, and matter, and is not subject to them. Therefore, the law of causality does not apply to him. Imagine a long, seemingly endless chain of dominoes, like you can see on your screen. Each domino knocks down the next. If you ask who knocked this particular domino, the answer is always the previous domino. But if this chain has no starting point, if it goes back infinitely, you will never reach an initial domino that explains why any of the others fell in the first place. It's just similar to the endless staircase analogy that I used earlier. Now imagine the same line of dominoes, but at the very beginning, there's a hand that pushes the first domino without it being pushed itself. The hand serves as the uncaused cause, the initiator that doesn't need an external force to act. This explains why the rest of the domino fell. In philosophical terms, this hand is analogous to the uncaused cause, whom we call God or the Creator. Did you know the universe is finely tuned for life? It's like if you are baking a cake and all the ingredients were perfect. Even if one was wrong, the cake wouldn't taste good. Scientists have discovered that the universe is finely tuned for life. The universe is perfectly adjusted at narrow limits for life. Small changes in the universe rule like gravity would make life impossible. But the chances of all this just happening by accident are really low. Just like the chances of an ingredient, a recipe for a cake just coming in, just coming on its own to make a cake. So the most reasonable explanation is that someone designed it carefully, just like a baker puts the ingredients together to make a cake. The multiverse theory, which are being posited by some scientists, says there are a lot of universes, but this lacks empirical evidence, and still the multiverse theory doesn't answer the question, what made this universe to pop into existence in the first place? So we are back to square one. So let's wrap this up. From our discussion, our presentation, the universe beginning points to a creator who is timeless, powerful, and intelligent. Philosophers and scientists agree that the universe couldn't have started by itself. Its fine-tuning and origin shows that it was made on purpose, not by accident. So when we think about the universe, it makes sense that there's a personal creator behind it all. So we look into the Bible. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That is, in the beginning, God made the universe. And Romans chapter 4 verse 17 says, God calls into being that which does not exist. And finally, Psalms 19 verse 1 says, the heavens, that is the universe, declare the glory of God. The universe points to a creator. So I end with this quote by Robert Jastrow. He said, for the scientist who has lived by his faith in the power of reason, the story ends like a bad dream. He has scaled the mountains of ignorance. He's about to conquer the highest peak. As he pulls himself over the final rock, he's greeted by a band of theologians who have been sitting there for centuries. Thank you for listening, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make your comments, share this video, and stay tuned for further videos. Thank you.